All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Oh my God, everybody, thank you so much for those subs and those hosts. Y'all know I love it when you do that. I'm Courtney Love, and I've got a great panel in store for you today. Anybody who's watching, if you've ever thought about getting into streaming, we have some perspective for you that should be valuable information. Without further ado, I'd love to introduce our guests. Well, they can introduce themselves. So the gist of this sort of streaming 101 panel today is to set people's expectations when it comes to streaming. There are overnight successes, but there are also marathons that you have to hurdle through. And keeping that in mind, I'd like to do in a clockwise fashion. Millie, that begins with you. Then we'll go to Shane, and then we'll go to Lang. Tell us who you are, what you stream, and what made you decide to start streaming.
Okay, my name is Millie. I've gone by several names on the internet in the last year and a half. But I stream, I would say primarily The Sims 4, Stardew Valley, a little bit of Animal Crossing, but I really like to sprinkle in old nostalgic Nintendo a lot. So my pride and joy is when we get to stream an old like Nintendo 64 or a GameCube game. I always try to maintain an indie selection as well, so I try to not stream the same thing back to back usually. And then what was the last question? What got me started streaming? So I grew up with two older brothers playing a lot of video games, and I, as an adult, kind of thought that adults weren't really allowed to play video games because it wasn't productive, and now we have to pay taxes. And during the pandemic, I saw a streamer on YouTube that was talking to people that didn't exist, and I was really confused. And then I found out that she was a Twitch streamer, so I came to Twitch to watch her and realized that this was kind of fun and kind of got into it as a way to bring back my love for video gaming and kind of make it like a productive thing again, which in my mind made it so I was allowed to enjoy it again. So it's been a really great way to kind of reconnect with something that I've loved my whole life and bring back a lot of fun nostalgia for me.
Great. So I think I think Shane and Lang are frozen right now. Let me see if I
Oh
can
no.
do something to fix that.
You get a great view of my lamp.
It's a great lamp.
Here we go. There we go. And we're back. Lang, I'm coming for you.
There we go.
Perfect.
Help me.
And you're back. All right, Shane, you're next.
Oh, hello. I am Shane. I go by Shanegtv. I started streaming because I quit a game that I was playing for 5 years that I was playing a game called Heroes of the Storm, which is League of Legends-esque. And that was the only game I played for a long time. I think I had a little bit of an issue with it. So to get out of that, I was like, I'm going to quit and I'm going to start doing this thing and I'm going to focus down all the games that I've missed, over the years from only playing like these competitive games. And I stream mostly retro RPGs in the morning. And then I started incorporating like coffee into it because I have a love of coffee. And it just sort of started me streaming to a couple of my friends just to like hang out during the pandemic, and then just sort of took it from there. So it's been great. I feel like just in the past few months, I feel like I finally feel super comfortable sitting down doing this, and I don't feel like I have to like build myself up anymore to like sit on stream and do this thing that we do.
Heard, definitely. Lang, you ready?
Yes. Been planning my response this whole time, and I'm definitely gonna forget like half of the things. So hi, I'm Lang. My username on Twitch is Fakeartprodigy. I stream a lot of art and just chatting, and also more recently I've been streaming a lot of games like Valorant and Ori and the Blind Forest and stuff like that. I'm actually currently on a break from streaming, but I will be coming back on Christmas Eve, so that'll be cool.
Exciting.
Yeah, and oh shit. I said this would happen. The reason I started streaming is actually because A couple of my friends suggested it to me because I was originally interested in like making YouTube videos, but there's a lot of barriers to that because I feel like YouTube requires a lot more extra like energy in terms of like editing videos and all those things and then posting them. Whereas with Twitch, you just like click go live, and then that's that. And so, yeah, it was just like a cool way to just sort of like do stuff on the internet. And now I'm here.
Great. Well, there are probably some new people here too, so I'll introduce myself as well. I'm Courtney Love. I'm a variety streamer. And that is not only true for video games, but also the content that I put out, because obviously we're doing a talk show right now. I host a talk show called Nerd Gaze, which is going to be coming a little bit more frequently in next year, which is an intersectional pop culture roundup where we talk about nerd ephemera. And that was actually the first stream I ever did. So the motivation behind me getting into streaming was just to have some earnest conversations and to meet new people. And I've done that, definitely. So I'd love to also go around and talk about the sort of expectations we had going in, and what were our initial feelings about it, because I think a reality that people need to face when they get into streaming is that you're going to be alone in a room for a little bit. It's going to take a while to build an audience. So let's, and we don't have to do this in particular order. So if anyone wants to start about what your expectations were and how they changed over time.
For me, I think my expectations were really low, especially because my setup at the time that I started was literally just like streaming from my phone. I had no like overlay. I was like struggling to read chat. It was just really, really janky. And so it was just like more or less just like a fun way for me to just like talk to new people, I guess. I like the second I started streaming, I turned off like anywhere I could see like viewer count, because that definitely stressed me out. And I would constantly worry like, okay, if the number just went from like 3 to 2, that means somebody just left, which means I'm not like interesting enough. So just sort of like turning that off just helped me focus on like the people who were actually in chat. And I think the good news is like you will always have your friends to support you. And so like even on like the days where literally like no one is in chat, at least like your friend is still there like, hey, how are you? You know? So it's like, it's okay. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I would say that I didn't go into it with any expectations, because I think I'm a can I say hoe on your channel? I'm a hoe for data. So I keep track of everything. So I think that the days between me signing up for Twitch and streaming was like a week. So I really had no idea of what it was, but I was like, this seems fun and interesting. And I love tackling new projects and just learning new things. So I was like, this seems like a really great opportunity to, one, get to play video games again, but also learn so much about audio and video and tech and all this new streaming software and all these things. So for me, it was just really exciting to learn how to do it. Like Ling was saying, I started on my MacBook from college. No, I got it in high school, actually. This is my famous story. I started streaming on a 2011 MacBook. I had a webcam because I was an online teacher. And I have a picture of it. I streamed from my coffee table because I didn't have a desk. It was clamped to the side of my coffee table on an arm, but webcams don't have mounts, which is my biggest beef with webcams. So it was taped to this arm with packing tape. And I had my little MacBook sitting out with my little $10 capture card that I still use. And my game screen was on my TV in the background, and that's where I heard my audio too. And I was streaming on this little MacBook with this little webcam. And it's so funny to me because it worked, and I was so proud of myself. And I was like, this is a real setup. Like, I was really impressed. And I like angled my like window light so that my face was kind of lit up. It didn't look very good in hindsight, but I was so proud of myself that I had come up with this big solution, and like that was it for me. I was like, I feel accomplished even with no one in chat. It was so cool to me just to problem solve and figure out ways to improve. And for me, that was enough. And obviously, so much has come with that. I think that watching a streamer and you can tell their expectations. And I think that part of the reason why I created these such incredible friends in the beginning is because none of us really cared. We just wanted to stream and play games, and we weren't stressed about the stats or the viewers or the follows or anything like that. And I think that that air of genuinity, is that a word? Kind of shows through. And a lot of those friends, like Kurt was a really early friend. I remember since uni, we're always hanging out. Like you said, the one friend is all you need. And it just it was so fun, even without any of the extra stuff that came with it in the beginning, that it just really, really took hold of me and just made me really love it. And everything kind of went from there.
Amazing.
Yeah, I guess. I guess it's my turn. I guess I started. Yeah, I've been on Twitch since like 2014, and I streamed a couple times back in the day, just like for fun to try it out, sort of thing. But I was watching a lot of esports and a lot of games done quick at the time. That was sort of what drew me in originally. Was those? I don't know if y'all know about Games Done Quick, but there's a charity event that they run a week every January, and I would just leave it on. Like I would just put it on the TV and it would just be on for the whole week. And that was sort of my way into Twitch originally. And then I teach at a college and I taught online. And I sort of enjoyed that process to a certain degree, like setting everything up and figuring that out. And so my partner bought me a capture card for my birthday, and it just kind of sat around for 6 months. And then last January, I was just like talking to my cousin, and I'm a photographer by trade, so I have a lot of this stuff. You know, I'm sort of lucky in that I just have cameras sort of laying around, which is nice. But the software really interested me to begin with, because I was like, oh, this is like Photoshop, but like you can play with it, you know, with video and different things like that, which is funny because I don't even use an overlay now, but it's, you know, it still was like fun to me in that sense. And so I just started streaming to my cousin who, you know, I've been since I was very little. We just gamed together always. And so not being able to see him for, you know, over a year, I was like, I'll just start playing a game online. And then, you know, every day I would just add something to it. It was fun to just like add something every day. Like, oh, okay, today I'm going to try switching up. Like I started with just the AirPod mics, and listening back to it, it's like you can't even hear what I'm saying over the music half the time. But it was just like me and my cousin hanging out, and then a couple of my friends started to come by, and then just build over time. So eventually I got on the phone with another streamer who's known as the Therapy Gecko. I don't know if y'all know who that is, but he goes by Lyle Forever. And he's like, oh, if you ever stream after I stream, I'll raid you. And then I didn't think he would do it. My partner Meg was like, you got to set up and do this thing. And he raided me, and I got like affiliate in a day. And it was like kind of wild. It was like this whole, I don't know, it was really interesting. And then I was in that community already from hanging out in chat over there. So people started coming by, and it sort of made me realize like, oh, if you're just like hanging out in other people's communities, like everyone wants to hang out together, and it's kind of fun in that way. And then I met Kurt, I think shortly thereafter, through my neighbor upstairs, randomly enough. And yeah, it's been a great time, you know, ever since then. So
yeah. I think you bring up two good points that I want to use to move forward. And of course, everyone, thank you for your answers. I really thought that was, it resonated with me a lot. Was, you know, the push towards affiliate and being in different communities as a way of like getting your own like name out. What do you think it takes for, you know, for someone to get to affiliate? I know everyone has their different story about how they hit that way. But what do you think needs to be the motivation in order to get to that point?
I think honestly, I think you just have to just start streaming and just see what happens. And like, I think the goals I sort of struggle with the number goals. I actually, yeah, I leave the viewer count up, and I always have, and I didn't really think about it one way or the other, I guess. Um, but yeah, I just think you have to sort of like, I think you just have to do it, and then if you find a love for it, people will come up, like, people will show up, and then you will get affiliate. Like, I think this sort of push for partner and like all this stuff that everyone builds up all the time is great. It's nice to set goals, but I feel like a lot of people really stress themselves out about it. And I don't know. I worry about people's mental health from that perspective on this platform because the affiliate is an average of 3 and partner is an average of 75, and that gap
Just no middle.
is just there's no sense in like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's I try to just not stress about it at all. I also am not trying to make this a full-time thing, at least as of right now. So for me, it's like, this is my time to like be my fullest self and enjoy myself the most with my community and the people that come by. And that's sort of what I'm here for. So, I think everyone has a different goal. So it sort of depends on that as well.
I agree. That's what a lot of friends who got into streaming shortly after me have asked me, what do you do to take off and like have your numbers grow? And I completely agree that it's the motivation, and that's not something that you can fake or change. It's just, why are you doing this? And it shows, and your viewers can tell. And because I've been in streams where, excuse me, streamers are commenting and almost like roasting the viewers for, oh, well, 2 people just left, guess I'm not funny, and like they'll say that. And things like that make the chat uncomfortable, and it shows your motivation for it. So I think that people who genuinely are streaming because they just want to play video games and hang out with their friends, that shows, and that brings followers and viewers and hosts, and all of those things grow each other more. It's like once you like get that snag, it all feeds itself. And I think that's what I tell people is like, if you're streaming because you want to be famous and you want to make money, it's probably not going to happen for you. You have to do it for an honest motivation and because you love doing it. Because if you don't love doing it, you're not going to have fun some days, and that's going to show, and that's going to hurt you overall. So it comes from your core reason why you started, and people either feel that way or they don't.
I definitely agree. And I also feel like, okay, so when I hit affiliate, I don't think I even knew what affiliate was. I was very uneducated in terms of like everything Twitch. But I think knowing what I know now, networking definitely helps a lot with like if you want to try and hit affiliate, like just like not only like being super welcoming and kind to everyone who like shows up in chat, but also just like showing up in other people's chat and like making friends there and making friends with the streamer, and like again like having like honest intentions with that, like you actually want to be friends with them, not just like, oh, like if I like butter them up enough, they'll like show up in my chat and they'll follow me. So yeah, just like socializing in that way. And Rye, you're socializing right now.
Yeah. I think that's such a good point. And I think what I want to get to now is intention, because networking can be a mixed bag. And there can be like sort of a bad intention when it comes to networking, and be like, why are you here? There are the snipe sort of people who come in and like if you're playing a certain game or like join your Discord just to like drop links, and like I've been guilty of that before. And I think like I became a better streamer when I actually got a full-time job and didn't want to depend on any sort of like support when it came to streaming, and I had a life. But can you talk about the genuineness about like building community, either within your stream or like joining other people's communities?
Yeah, I agree that networking is a huge thing, because one of my friends that started around the same time as me started noticing that my growth was taking off a little bit faster. And the only difference was that I was spending all day long in chats and hanging out. And I think that like you were saying, there's a way to do it. You don't want to be the self-soliciting, self-promoting streamer in chat, because that turns everyone off. But just hanging out and spending that genuine time with people and supporting them. Oh, Frankie was in the background. I saw Kitty in chat. And making those genuine friendships. My favorite thing is when someone's been hanging out in my chat for a while, and then I happen to go click on them, or I see a tweet and I'm like, you stream? Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we're so close by now. Please self-promo in my chat. Like, we're friends. I want that. But also, like, that is just such a mark of character, that they really are just hanging out and they're not doing anything for themselves. Frankie did cause trouble this morning. Frankie's always causing trouble. And networking, because you like with the whole raid thing, you make a good friend, and if someone makes a good impression, or you just really feel this genuine connection with someone, that's how you get a raid or a follow or anything like that brings new friends and mixes and brings all these new people into your life. And it's a huge web of support. And not only that, but also being able to learn from each other. It's been so valuable to see someone and, oh my gosh, they have an automated bot in their chat, and I feel like I'm close enough with them, I'm going to send them a DM to see if they can teach me about that. Or like Kurt, when Kurt got on a video call with me for an hour to teach me about audio stuff, because I didn't know anything about it. And it's just all of those relationships, and spending the extra time outside of your own stream to make those relationships, and it's invaluable. It's just incredible. And then of course the friendships that come along with that outside of Twitch. So
Anybody else want to speak to that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, like at first, I would definitely like go in people's chats that were playing the game I was playing and be like, oh yeah, this happened to me earlier. And then I was like, wait, what the hell am I doing? Like, this is not the way to do this. It just feels like that's, for some reason, like, oh, they're playing this, so maybe we can make a connection. It's like, it doesn't really work out that way. I think just finding content creators who you like hanging out in their chat and just hanging out is the sort of best way to go about it. Since I'm in like the retro RPG community and slowly just found people who I really enjoy watching, and it wound up that a couple of them live in the city I live in, and then we met up and like went to a convention together, which is just wild. But I played Earthbound, and then the day after I finished, because I don't watch games while I'm playing them because I don't want to get spoiled, obviously. I just clicked on the category, and the first person streaming I just clicked into, and then I just like threw some of my emotes in chat, and they loved the emote from the game I was playing, and then like, I'm gonna follow you, and then they stream before me in the morning, so I just hop in their stream every morning and hang out there. And like they, it's become like another extension. Like the whole community comes together as you find each other, but it has to feel right. Like I've gone into other RPG chats, I'm like, oh, I don't really dig this vibe. And so like, I'm not going to hang out here because it's not for me. Like there's a streamer for everybody. And that is so very true.
Right. Absolutely.
I would also say Twitch discoverability, which is probably a question you want to going to ask anyway, but Twitch discoverability is not fantastic by any means. I would definitely recommend, me personally, I edit video as a profession. So I really enjoy watching myself back, and I've learned a lot from watching myself back. And like, early on I was watching every VOD, at least like some of it. And that really taught me how to just talk to myself, talk about the game, talk about my day, like learn what you want to how you want to handle yourself on stream a little more as well. But TikTok and YouTube are the biggest ways to generate more viewers, if that's what you're trying to do. I just like to make TikToks because they're fun. So yeah, I haven't had any, I don't really pay attention to like conversions or whatever, but would definitely recommend, outside of hanging out in other people's chats, using your content to generate more content.
Absolutely. Ling, did you have something to say on that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say one quick thing, which was just that there are going to be a lot of times where you like try to connect with someone new and it just doesn't work out, and like that's okay. Like you don't have to like force it in order to like try and like get them to be a part of your community or anything like that. Like there've been a lot of times where I've like rated someone and it's just been like really awkward, and it's like they either like don't say much or like it's just like I don't know, it's just weird, and I'm just like, well, it was cool. I hope you have a good rest of your stream. I'm gonna go now. Yeah. So like when that happens, like it's okay. Like it's like inevitable almost that like you're gonna find someone and it's not gonna like click, and like that's fine. Like you just need to keep like I guess searching for like your right group of people.
I wanted to touch on two things that Shane actually mentioned. The first being when he was saying how when he was new to Twitch, jumping in chats. I'm sorry. What are your pronouns, by the way? I'm just assuming.
Oh
let's go
yeah,
around.
you're
That's
good.
a good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
My
yeah,
pronouns
he
are
him
she,
is
her.
totally fine.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he him.
Okay. I just want to make sure. But yeah, so etiquette when you're new to Twitch is such a big thing. I cringe about the things that I used to say because I would do the same thing and be like, oh, this happened. My chat was saying this morning and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, okay, like, which, you know, you have to learn, and no one knows these things in the beginning, but learning the, you know, the sly way or the appropriate way to form those relationships is really important. And I also really wanted to emphasize watching VODs is so important, not only for learning your mannerisms, but also for me, because I knew nothing about tech. I know about fish and ecology. I don't know about audio and video. So that was a huge thing for me to learn, that I needed to figure out mic settings, especially in the beginning. All you could hear was my MacBook fan. But also like it helps you learn about the levels of your alerts and talking over things and interacting with chat, and there's so much that you can learn from watching from VODs, and I think you never grow out of that. I still try to watch at least some of each of my VODs because it is an invaluable thing to do. So that I wanted to build on that and say watch your VODs. It's absolutely crucial and never stop.
Absolutely. I think another big hurdle too is to you got to unpack a lot of insecurities before you start streaming, I feel. Because a lot of people don't feel comfortable watching themselves on VODs just because they just don't like seeing themselves on screen. So I think if you have some things you need to work on it before you get on live, because they're only going to exacerbate when you're thinking about viewership and you're thinking about how you're conducting yourself on stream. And on the topic of conducting yourself on stream, do any of you have anything to comment about like etiquette, like chat etiquette? Because I think Rye said something that's like pretty important. About you meet someone and you end up sipping with or for them, you know. And I think this is a real thing about like how you conduct yourself and how you like converse with your viewers about it. So I don't know if anyone else wants to touch about like chat etiquette and like sort of vibe that you're curating on the stream.
I think that's definitely partially up to you to set that tone for like how you want to interact with your chat. I'm sure there are people out there who would maybe like feel uncomfortable being like super like simpy with their chat and like stuff like that. For me, I think the attitude that I take with like talking to anybody new in my chat is just being perhaps slightly too energetic, but just like really happy that they're here, even if they're only here for like, you know, a couple seconds to say hi and then they leave. So yeah, that's just sort of like how I want to be received, like when I show up, because like, especially like in like big streamers chats, like you're like almost like never noticed, you know, like anything you say more or less goes under the radar, unless you like send a donation or something like that. And so like for me, it's like, I definitely want people to at least feel heard, you know. And I also try to keep my chat like as in like an open space for like anyone to come talk. Obviously, like not like too much trauma dumping because I can stress out, you know, everybody else in chat. But just like there were a lot of times in my earlier streams where I would just like sort of like be more of a friend to people in chat than like like a traditional like streamer chat friendship or relationship.
Yeah, I think that setting your own tone for your chat is really basically what happens, but also making sure that your moderators are on the same level as you in terms of what's comfortable. The cats are tussling. I was in a chat the other day, actually, of her name is Sheila, but her tag is Sheeler, absolute adorable human. And we were talking about how she is so soft spoken, and it's someone asked if she was whispering, and she's like, no, this is just how I talk, and that brought up the whole idea of some people are really loud and really energetic, and some people are more soft spoken and calm. And oh my gosh, I'm sorry if you can hear them in the background.
I can hear him. You're good. You're good.
Okay, good.
You're great. You're great.
They're not happy with each other. We have a kitten and my cat, and they're learning how to coexist. Anyways, but yeah, we were just saying, like, you know, all of the people who are louder in chat as humans were like, yeah, people always say that I'm too loud and annoying, and then other people are like, yeah, people always say that I'm too quiet and too soft-spoken. And I think that just leaning into who you are and what your personality and what your mannerisms are, because like you said, there's a streamer for everyone, and I watch both. Sometimes I want to be in a really energetic streamer's chat, and sometimes I just want to chill and hang out in one of my more calm friends' chats. And I think that not trying to cater to anyone and just being, again, it comes back to just being authentic and being yourself and letting it be genuine is really valuable. And obviously comparison is really, really hard to avoid, but trying not to compare yourself and think like, oh, I should be more soft spoken because I really like hanging out in Sheila's stream. But if that's not who you are, then that's okay. And just leaning into that and just being yourself. And again, having mods that know who you are and what you're comfortable with. Some people are comfortable with more language in their chats than others, and really setting that expectation from you and your team so that chat kind of learns what they can get away with and what they can't.
Right. So I'd love to set up one question, unless anyone had anything to add on that.
I just wanted to, I wanted to mention,
Okay.
one thing. I would just say, like, even when I'm in other people's, in terms of like etiquette, like even when I'm in other people's chats and communities that know me and know that I stream, like for example, that morning streamer, because I stream later in the morning while this person's still on. And so when I leave, I say, I gotta head out. Have a nice day. Like, I don't say I'm going to stream. Like, I think things like very simple things like that, unless you're like super well known, like a mod or something in the community, and it's like, oh yeah, they're streaming later and we were just talking about it or something. I try to keep that like to as a minimum as possible. I think that's like, people will find out if you stream, if you hang out in their communities long enough, and like you don't have to force it and you don't have to announce it every time you're going live and like someone else's that is live already's chat, you know. But yeah, I think like, you know, like Kurt, you're like, I'm going to set up for stream later in my chat because you're a mod and we all know you're streaming at 11 o'clock after I stream. So like in that case, it's a whole different scenario. But in terms of like, yeah, just if you're more loosely known, you know, friendly in a community, just say like, I gotta go, you know.
Absolutely. So one more question till I open it up for the chat to ask questions. And that will be, you know, as much as we were talking about how viewership shouldn't be like at the forefront of what you're thinking about when you're going live, what is the one thing that has benefited you in your sort of like success as a streamer? Like what would be the one thing that you would give as advice to people, or at least no, not to people, because like it's different for everybody, but what's the one thing that for you that you changed up that has seemed to like work for your stream?
I mean, there's several things for me, like, oh my gosh, he's holding a bird.
Yeah.
When did that happen? I saw it in chat and I was like, what?
Meg passed her off to me. She's just doing a few things, but I figured
pass the bird.
So that's definitely Shane's thing that he changed about stream.
Yeah. Just shows up with a bird. But yeah, kind of touching on a few things we've talked about already, community is invaluable. You know, the Discord server that I got in from Animal Crossing Twitter that's grown has been a huge thing for me, and making friends, but also just always learning from yourself and from others is so important. And like I'm constantly adding more things to my stream, and things like I recently made a bunch of custom bits alerts, and now we have a dog. Look at us, we have a whole zoo here. My cat's acting like a weird scary owl watching us in the background. But like I'm still adding things like custom bits alerts and sound alerts and fun little emotes and things like that that just help viewers have fun and foster that sense of community. And yeah, I think just never being satisfied and always trying to learn and tweak things a little bit better, and learning from others without ripping people off, and yeah, just constantly learning from yourself and constantly trying to improve is super important.
Thank you.
I added 2 things recently to my stream. I like recently reworked all of my emotes and all that stuff. And like along with that, I sort of like rebranded everything else in terms of like my about panels and all that stuff. And that was just like a personal like project of mine. But I feel like, I don't know, I at least like everything that I've done, so that's cool. And the other thing that I added semi recently was a lot of sound alerts. I started using the Oran board for that, which is like something you can really customize in terms of like what you have, how much like it'll cost in terms of like channel points and all these things. And it was like a lot of work. I remember I had like a lot of the things didn't work unless I was streaming, so I couldn't test it like outside of stream. So I had this like really dumb like 2 a.m. stream where I was just sitting in my pajamas and I was like this is not a formal stream, like I'm literally just trying to figure everything out.
And then everyone shows up every time.
Yeah, and it's
No
like,
way.
hi guys, like this is not the time. But yeah, it was just like, I feel like that added a lot because it's like a really fun way for chat to directly interact with my stream, by either like scaring me in the middle of a game with a dumb sound or, you know, just anything like that. So that's also been really fun.
Amazing.
Also, I see Moss throwing in the whatever you said.
Leorin board.
Leorin board. Yeah. Triggerfire is another great one, but I am going to check out this one because I haven't heard of it. I use Triggerfire though.
Amazing.
In case anyone else needs another resource.
Yeah, I think Leorin, I think I tried out Triggerfire, and the reason that I switched over to Leorin board is because there's more like customizable options.
Cool.
Like have like chat like freeze my stream for a second if they wanted to.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. As far as I'm aware with Triggerfire is how I do my so if you've ever played Untitled Goose Game, the first thing you learn in that game is press Y to honk. So in my chat you can type Y and there's a honk.
That's so cute.
So I use Triggerfire for that, and I also use it for I think my channel point redemption sound alerts. But that's really all you can do. You can allegedly get it to send like a picture or a GIF to screen, but mine hasn't been working. So this seems way more intuitive. So this is cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Hell yeah.
See, we're always learning.
You're always learning. Hell yeah. So
Yeah,
I want.
go ahead.
Please.
Oh, did you want? I could do a quick response to that question
do.
if you want. Yeah. I was just gonna say I think the thing that sort of has helped me the most is like to stop stressing about adding stuff all the time and like sort of stop talking about things that I want to do to a certain degree, because I feel like it sets this expectation that then you have to meet, and if you don't, you like let yourself down a little bit. And I feel like now it's like, oh, there's all these things that I'd like to do, and when I have the time to do them and I'm ready to do it, then I do it. But like I go on a lot. Yeah, I think I go on a lot of streams and I hear people like this is coming, this is coming. We're going to play these 50 games, and then we're going to do this backlog, and then we're going to have these new alerts, and we're going to have these, like all this stuff is coming. And it's like, I feel like it's a little overwhelming to even keep up with, because like, you know, I probably watch like 10 to 15 streams pretty regularly at a time, but like to keep up with everyone's, like all that stuff feels very overwhelming as a viewer, I think. So I've sort of just kept it like, oh, today is something new, you know, like, oh, I added this today, and like that's when you find out about it, is when I add it.
Right.
Because I think that a lot of people put a lot of pressure on themselves to like build all this stuff up, and like, I don't know, I think I'm a little, being in the photo and creative community outside of streaming, there's so much like coming soon, all this stuff, and I'm like, just show me when it's done. Like I just want
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there's definitely a happy medium. You're absolutely right. I get a little obsessive and try to do a lot at once, and you're absolutely right. There's definitely a happy medium you should find with not stressing yourself out and overwhelming yourself and others, but also adding new things when it feels right and when you have the time to really sit down with it.
Yeah, one thing. Oh,
Please.
one thing I was also gonna say is that a lot of these things that I do like for my stream, I do it on stream, and I like use that as like the like theme of the stream, I guess. And that's partially because I am an artist, so like, you know, streaming me like drawing my emotes is not like super out of the ordinary. But like it's just like that way I don't have this pressure to like have to stream and also work outside of stream on something. And it does kind of ruin the surprise. So, you know, if you're trying to like keep something like behind the scenes and then just have the finished product show up, like that's definitely like something you can do. But for me, like being able to stream something that I'm working on takes a lot of the pressure off of my shoulders.
Absolutely.
I think you can keep it minimal too. Like I still stream on a laptop. I don't use any overlay programs because they're not, I'm on a MacBook. A lot of that stuff isn't available to me, and I need to like figure that, you know, I can maybe figure that out. But like I play on the TV.
Help, let me know.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I don't imagine that there'll ever be a point where you can like turn my stream off or anything. Like I just don't know if that's, you know, and I think that's totally like either way, as much as you want to add or as little as you want to add, it's all okay. I think a lot of people feel pressure to like, we got to throw more stuff at it. You know, it's like,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think your chat can also like, when they talk about another person's stream on your chat, it can make you very self-conscious and think that you need to have that. But, you know, I mean, that's just something too that you can talk to like your chat about. I mean, like, listen, this is like, here's what my bandwidth is. And like, I'm stretching myself too thin, just like trying to give you all the content that I can do, you know, and there are games I want to play and there are games I know you all want to see, but I'm doing me first, and I hope you all can deal with that. So,
and that's the thing is, viewers are never going to be there for the fluff that you have. Viewers are going to be there for you, and that's if you're streaming on a phone or a video camera from the 90s, which is probably impossible. But like they don't care really about the quality. They're there for you and your personality and who you are. And everything else is extra. So there's definitely no need to feel a sense of obligation to add all of these bells and whistles, because at the end of the day, that's just icing on the cake, but you're the cake.
Yeah.
It would be cute if Kurt had set Fantana guest PNG tubers. Okay, so you all are literally doing what we said is problematic. And yeah, I mean, I also like just take when you're watching a streamer too, just like remember that they're doing the best that they can with what they have. You'll notice that a lot of the screens were getting like frozen at one point. That's just because I'm streaming off a fucking tablet. This is a Microsoft Surface Pro. I'm doing the best I can here, but we're hearing some amazing stuff. There you go. No free promo. There you go. So I'd love to open it up for the chat. If you guys have any questions, throw it in the chat, and we'd love to hear it. Something I want to mention too is that there is no right software for you. Like there's no like absolute software you have to use. If you're on a Mac, odds are Streamlabs is going to run better. If you're on a PC, you probably want to go with OBS because it's going to run a little bit less on your CPU. Audio, try getting a virtual mixer. You know, if you want to separate all of your stuff, try doing Voicemeeter. We didn't get to a lot of the technical points of streaming today just because I would think like setting expectations is the best thing to do for you going in. So another thing that I'm going to try to do with the stream is to make this a regular series. So we're going to talk about some of the streaming stuff that you can download for it. So we'll talk about Leorin board. We'll talk about the green screen stuff. So we got questions coming in already. Let's see. Opinions on VTubing / no cam streams.
I think that if that's what you're comfortable with, that's definitely what you should do. Like, if that is the only barrier between you and streaming, like that you feel like you have to have a camera on, then just like don't. Like, it's not like a requirement. I think it is true to say that people probably connect better if they can see something that they're talking to. But if that's like a VTuber instead of like your actual face, or like something as simple as a PNG tuber also, I think that's definitely like something that you should go for, Maya.
Yeah, I think there's a RPG streamer, Eyes on B, and she uses all these like she turns herself into the paperclip with eyes like from Microsoft Word and stuff. And it's like a lot like the first like 5 streams I watched, I had no idea what she looked like. And then eventually, like on a day where she wanted to be on camera, it was just her. And I was like, oh, there you go. Like now I know. So I think you can play with it like as much as you want. And you know, even I've recently adopted wearing a Halo, Master Chief helmet for as a channel point redemption, which is really fun too. So, you know, as much as you want to play with like that part of it, I think is, you know, and there's a whole audience for VTubers. I feel like in particular, like people are really looking for that in a certain audience. So
Can we get a shout out for a Clippy streamer in chat, please? Because I need to follow this person.
oh yeah, hold on.
What's the name?
I think Shane.
Oh, Shane is mod. Perfect.
Oh, I got you. I'm a mod. I got you.
Hell
I got you.
yeah.
Eyes on B.
It's a little confusing because Meg is on my account in the other room right now, so she's typing and I'm typing, and we're on the same. It's all Shane GT.
Does anyone have experience streaming off of an iPhone? They were saying, someone asked, I was wondering what the best way to stream off of an iPhone would be.
I've done IRL streams on the phone, but never with games. So we went to an arcade and Meg just held the phone while I was just talking about the games and like playing them and stuff. And then we've done 2 IRL bagel streams where we drive to a bagel place, pick it up, come back, and then eat it. I recommend if you're gonna be on your phone, I downgrade my stream to 480p. Just because then you know that the feed will always go through, you know, because like internet can be spotty depending on where you are. So I was like in the middle of New Hampshire at an arcade streaming at 480p and we didn't drop at all, which was amazing. So I definitely recommend trying to, you know, you can play with it too. Like you could do a test stream and see if 720p would work, but 480p for me was like clean and it never dropped. So I definitely think that's a helpful part if you want to do IRL.
Amazing.
I think Kurt has some experience with iPhone streaming too. I at least know of one when I was in an Uber on my way to you at a park one time.
Very true.
Do you have anything you can add?
Yeah, I mean, I had shoddy Wi-Fi, and apparently it still went through. I had 8 viewers for some reason. I'm just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, why are you guys watching me right here? And I was just drinking and eating cheese in a park, which is honestly a vibe. So, yeah, I definitely take Shane's advice, but you can really do whatever you want when it comes to IRL streams. So, I mean, like we said, it's always about what makes you feel comfortable, and people are going to come if they feel or they see someone in their element. Mr. Flax and Waxen asked, this might have been answered now, but what is each individual streamer's biggest challenge right now, and how are they overcoming it?
If it's my biggest challenge, it means I haven't figured out how to overcome it yet. I think just for me, I don't have any specific challenges. I just want to like be able to grow more and grow my community more. And I think that requires a lot of like self reflection as to like what are the things that I do that other people find interesting, and like balancing other people's interests with like what I personally like streaming. Because I used to play a lot of Valorant and I would always stream it, and then nobody liked it. But it's like a joke in my chat that they hate me playing Valorant. So it's not like, oh, please don't ever stream Valorant. But it was just like, now I like have to like learn how to balance like, do I stream Valorant or do I just play later and I do something else on stream? Something else that people probably enjoy a little more. So yeah, that's just something that I'm sort of like figuring out as I go.
I think for me,
go ahead.
For me especially, and Kurt, I know at least retweeted this, so I assume that he has similar opinions, is time constraints. I work a full-time job. I work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and I work from home Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I can at least like hang out on Twitch while I'm working. And I have such FOMO with people who get to do daytime streams because I can't. And then on the weekends, I usually don't stream because I'm just recovering. And I think just realizing, because I used to be like, oh, all the viewers are during the day. I would have better numbers if I streamed during the day. But just realizing that people are around all the time. Mm-hmm. And again, they're going to be there for you. And you can't, it's also not really fair to chalk up your daytime streamer's success to just their schedule, because that's not true either. And for me, it's just kind of settling into my own schedule and just realizing that my community is going to be there when they're there, and there's nothing that I can do about changing my schedule or streaming earlier, and that it's okay, and not to have FOMO or feel bad. And just kind of really getting comfortable with what you are capable of doing. Kind of like what we were saying earlier, not only with time constraints, but also just what your mental capacity. Like, what do you have the time and the energy for? And coming to terms with that and accepting that, like, I'm doing my best. This is what I can offer. This is good enough. This is more than good enough. And just kind of accepting all of those things, because I'm always wanting to do more. And sometimes you simply can't.
Hairs up for Shane, so we got an intense answer coming up.
Oh, you're good. I was just warm. Sorry, just laughing at the situation. My bird is back. Yeah, I think I run my own business, so I'm a wedding photographer, and I work from home. I also do like other freelance work. I also teach. I also have like an intern, and I'm in a long-term relationship. So like juggling all those things time-wise is super challenging. I feel super lucky that I do get to stream in the morning, because what started for me is that I used to wake up, make coffee, and just play games for an hour or two before starting my work. And so it was like a very easy thing for me to do it at that time. But I did always worry, like, oh, are there people that are going to be around, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, but it's the world. Like, that is the coolest part about Twitch, is it's like, oh yeah, a bunch of Aussies are going to show up today. This is great, you know? Like, and, you know, like our friend Jeffy Peanut Butter, who's like in, you know, Korea teaching, like, he's like, I'm going to bed, but I'm watching you as I'm falling asleep. And it's like, I'm drinking coffee and it's 8:30 in the morning, you know? And it's like this amazing sort of thing that, like even the person that I hang out with in the morning before I stream starts at 5 a.m. my time, and like goes from 5 to usually 10 a.m. And there's like, you know, 75 to 100 people there every morning. Like there is an audience at every time of the day. So don't feel like it's just whenever you want to stream, just do it.
Mm-hmm. Located at?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Where are they located at? The 5 a.m. streamer, where are they?
Oh, yes, they're in Boston with me. Yeah, we're all
in wow.
Yeah, yep.
So it's 5 a.m. their time too. I was gonna say, one of my favorite streamers will usually go live around 5 a.m. my time, but they're in Czech Republic, so it's like they're like drinking a beer while I'm like opening my eyes.
We're in the same time zone. They live like 15 minutes from my house. So it's amazing.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
All right,
Can't
we're gonna try to
imagine
wrap
doing
up. I think we're gonna take 2 more questions if that's okay.
Sure.
Awesome. And before that, I will say that yes, Shane is the reason why I moved over to morning streams too. And it wasn't like a strategy or anything like that. It was more of like my days were a lot better when I got rid of the anxiety of anticipating stream. Because having a nighttime stream, I'm very much like one of those people, like if I have something to do later in the day, I can't get anything done because I'm anticipating that thing happening. So having it at the beginning of the day, just like this, it's way better because I got to hang out with my friends, and now I have like the confidence to like just do whatever I have afterwards. There's a time where I was doing daytime and nighttime just to gauge like what people were into, and that helped me answer this question from Cal, aka Quest for Method. Are there specific things that you know you would never stream game wise, or that you save for yourself to have particularly off stream? So I think this is a really good question.
I play Persona off stream because that game is too long to play on stream.
Absolutely.
I have a separate Sims save file that I play off stream, but it's still the same world of The Sims. It's just my own save file to do my own thing, and then my challenges are saved like on a different file and in their own world. But that's it. Everything else, I'm like, I just play it when I want to play it.
For me, I think I kind of answered with like playing Valorant. I think it is just in general, there are a lot of games where it's harder for chat to interact with you while you're playing it. And I think Valorant is one of them. Probably most like first person shooter games for the most part are like, it's just like you're either able to focus on the game or you're able to focus on chat. It's a little hard to be able to do both, and it's also hard for like, what is chat gonna say? Like, oh, nice headshot. You know, like there's like not much else for chat to say. So that's sort of something that you like keep in mind, like when you're thinking about like what games to stream. But also just like, you know, over time you like know your chat, like you sort of like know what things they would be interested in. And also in the completely opposite direction, there is a game that I save only for stream, which is Ori and the Blind Forest. And it's like, so it's a story-based game, and so it's like, you know, like it's nice for chat to be able to follow along with the storyline and not feel like, you know, when they come into stream, they're like, holy shit, like what did you do? You know, like while you weren't streaming. So yeah, that's just like, that's what I keep in mind, like when I think about like what to stream.
That's true. I do keep my story-based games just for stream because of that reason.
Yeah.
And I also like, I usually try to throw in a Twitter poll of games that I want to play, but then I let my viewers or followers or whoever have a say as well. And then, oh my gosh, they're being so loud. And then one final thing I will say to touch on what you were saying is, yeah, like keeping in mind interactivity. Can you guys stop? But also, I've noticed that certain games you can't keep an eye on chat as much.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind as well.
Absolutely.
I don't think that should like stop you from streaming it though. Just like to put in my 2 cents. I think like if there's a situation where you play a game for like a couple minutes and then you catch up on chat for a couple minutes, I think that's also okay. You know, like it's not like there's like a hard stop, like, oh, you are not allowed to stream this game, you know, if you can't read chat. So
also,
yeah,
MJ has been redeeming hydrate for the last like hour, so if everyone needs to drink some water, go ahead and do that. And yeah, I'll say too is that another thing, last night I was playing some Mario Kart off stream in my Discord, and someone said, Kurt, you should be like, have you ever thought about just becoming a Mario Kart streamer? And I was like, that's an absolutely horrible idea. Like, do you know the Mario Kart community? Do you like, I don't want their smoke, you know, because then you'll get a bunch of like snipers who like come into the stream just because they want to battle you. And like, I hate that fucking vibe, you know?
Yeah.
And thankfully I have mods who are just like gonna vibe check these people. But you know, there are times where like the chat will say like, Kurt, you haven't changed your stream category, and be like, yeah, because I don't want any randos coming in. Let's just keep it in just chatting. Like this is for us, you know, and like community based stuff. And like the thing about Valorant too is like if you're squatting up, like people kind of like hearing the squad hanging out together too. So, you know, whatever works for you. It depends on what type of gamer you are. They're all type of different gamers. And so
Yeah.
this I think will be the last question, and it's from Pineapple. How do you decide what your main game or stream category is? And we can probably like widen it out to vibe as well. Do you think it's beneficial to stick to a single game or be more of a variety streamer?
I was just typing a response to this, and as soon as you said that, I deleted what I was typing. So I guess I'll start with this one. I would say play what you have fun playing, just to harp on, because people can tell your vibes if you're doing something out of an obligation or, again, within like a realm of kind of what we've discussed. But play what you're going to have most fun playing. And in my opinion, from what I've seen, I think that it's harder to be a variety streamer. I found that my friends who play one game tend to have a stronger community because they know what to expect. But they also have a harder time when they then switch to something else because all their viewers are like, what are you doing? So I think, and I've talked to some of my friends about this, that in my opinion, I would rather start out a variety streamer and build a community more based on me. And this is not to shit on people who stream only one game, because if they have fun with that, that's good on them. But I think that it saves you from a potential burnout or that sense of obligation of sticking to one game. And I think that it builds a slower but stronger community that's focused on you and will show up whether you're drawing emotes or baking a cake or playing Valorant or whatever. And to me, that is what I would rather have. So just staying true to what you want and like just do what you want. It's your stream.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that. I think for me, I play one game at a time and I play it until I'm done with it, except for Wednesday nights. And Wednesdays I stream in the morning and at night, not always, but often. And it is definitely odd, Kurt, where it's like, oh yeah, the middle of the day, you're like, okay, I got this other thing, I got to show back up, I got to log back in here, and it's an interesting way to go about things. But yeah, I think. It's just depending on like what you want to get out of it. If you want to just stream Warzone and you want to be a Warzone streamer, then do that. If you want to, like, I just love retro RPGs, especially because it allows you to interact with chat a lot. Because like turn-based battle systems are like, I do this and then I can look down and then I can look back up, and it gives me that opportunity to go back and forth, which I really like. But like, Kurt, you were there that night. I was playing Guilty Gear for 3 hours, and
so
like.
Good.
A bunch of people stuck around for a fighting game, which I love fighting games, but I didn't imagine people that watched me play Earthbound would care much about Guilty Gear. But, we hung out and like everyone was asking me questions because they were like, oh, I don't know anything about fighting games. Can you tell me about like how you're doing these insane combos?
Right.
And I can talk about frame data and like the concept of the game and why they're interesting, because a lot of people don't understand why people like fighting games. So it was like a fun opportunity to talk about that. But yeah, I mean, Kurt plays a different game every day of the week, and we all love hanging out with Kurt. So I think, it just depends on what you're trying to do, and I think people that are into it will stick around. So
yeah, I've got a huge backlog. Like that's my only motivation for playing a different game every single day. I want to level up.
I feel you. You were playing like 10 open world games at one point. I was like, you're playing Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon, like.
Yeah. I mean, like, guys, I've been playing this for years. You got to complete these.
Yeah.
So, Ling, did you have anything to say on that? I don't know if you meant.
Yeah.
Okay, go, please.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No. I was gonna say just one thing, which is that I have seen people who like are more or less focused on one game during their streams. They're like able to like. This is like something that I've been struggling with. So like they have like bit emotes and like sub badges and all those things, and they're all like focused around the theme of like one game. So like for example, Stardew Valley, like their like sub badges are like the different like fruits in Stardew Valley and all these things, and that's like something that I can't really do because I don't have like one specific game that I focus on. So that's like something that I'm sort of like jealous about. But I think like overall, I definitely still prefer being a variety streamer just because I burn out really easily on games. And so having the freedom to be able to switch off and still know that like people will still show up just because it's me. That seems so self-centered to say, but yeah, it's just like the comfort in knowing that is nice. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
even when I stream Valorant, people will still come and say hi.
Yeah. I was telling my dad today that like even if I don't have like a 401k, if I don't have this like full-time job right now, I'm the most fulfilled I've ever been because I've met amazing people who make me believe in myself. That's what a chat can do for you. They can really boost you and make you believe in yourself, and that's what they do for me. Thank you all so much for coming on the stream. I really appreciate it. I feel like this was really invaluable information, not only for the people watching, but for myself too. I feel like I learned so much, and I think I'm going to be a better streamer because of it. Can we get a quick round of shout outs for everybody that's here? Of course, this is, there we go. That's Millie over there. Below me is Lang, and that's Shane over there in the corner. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your days. If you are interested in joining my Discord, we are a very supportive community. We do this thing called a streamer showcase. I do it for every season, and it's a great way for you to mix up what you're doing in streaming wise, or if it's your first time streaming, it's a great way to premiere yourself. It's just a raid train that we do, where you can offer up an hour. It's kind of like a streamer open house. So we like planning that stuff, but we also love doing, we just like shooting the shit. And of course, everyone has their own communities. So please give these people a follow. Millybuns, Fakeartprodigy, Shanegtv. They've got just really good times involved for you. Can someone tell me how many viewers we got? Should we do a raid? Is everyone who's watching down for a raid? Because I know you always got to check.
We got 26 friends in here, Kurt.
Holy shit!
Can I ask Millie?
Can I
ask Millie a quick question?
What's up,
Millie? Are you gonna play Shrek again anytime soon?
We beat it.
You finished it. There was many months ago you were playing Shrek, and I was dying laughing like the whole time. I don't remember. It was a fun stream.
That game was so hard for no reason.
Yeah.
And we beat it. It's the bane of my existence. It happened that one of my friends found out that I had a GameCube that I streamed from and was like, "Oh my gosh, Shrek was my favorite game growing up. Would you ever play that?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then she like sent me a screenshot. She like bought it for me on Amazon and mailed it to me. And so we played it, and I like scheduled the streams around her. And the first day I dressed up as Shrek and like had green lights and everything. And then after we beat it, I mailed it back to her. So I don't have it anymore. And I don't think I saved a single one of those for stream. But we have some good clips. Nothing has ever made me quite as angry as that game in my life.
Yep.
It was so hard.
It's like a gauntlet style game, right? Like you have it's like a gauntlet style game. It's like overhead camo. You got like 4 characters, and it's like sort of like a side scroller, right?
Yeah, and just the battles that you had to do. We spent like 3 hours just trying to get Cinderella safe while she was shopping for shoes. I was having to like beat up all these people that were trying to rob her, and 3 hours. I was literally ready to just like turn everything off and leave because
my god.
And it was a course that took like 3 minutes to get through, but we just kept having to redo it. It was insane. Anyways, so no, unfortunately for maybe you, but fortunately for me, there will not be more Shrek streams.
Fair enough.
That's what's in store for you over at Millybuns stream. And while we're talking about it, if you're over in Fakeartprodigy stream, you'll never be more happy to get timed out in a chat. It's like it's the thing where it's like, oh my god, you want to get cyberbullied in that chat because it's so much fun. Like it's amazing. And then like of course Shane's sound alerts, and we gotta give a shout out to AK. Just like an amazing time over there.
They try to break my sound alerts every day because my computer like at some point says no more. It just stops working. So everyone's like, spam till it breaks. Spam till it breaks.
One time my chat got my sound alerts broken where it honked every 10 seconds for 5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
It was just like stuck in a repeat. So they opposite of broke mine. They broke me instead.
All right. So that's it for us for today, everybody. thank you all once again for coming on the stream. I wish you tons of success, and I can't wait to hang out in your streams again.
Thank you for doing this, Kurt.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having us.
This was
All right.
fun.
Thanks, everyone.
This has been fun.
So we're gonna be rating someone that I followed in like one of my first months on stream. Their name is Dripping Honey. They're a POC streamer, and they're playing some Stardew Valley. So let's go ahead and show them some love. You can put !raid in the chat. Hell yeah.
Sorry, Shane.
Oh, that's okay. How dare you?
I'm a mod by trade. It's in my blood.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
All right, y'all. Have a great day.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
Kurt. Bye.